Hi, I'm David Jernigan. I'm a professor at Boston University School of Public Health, and I'm here with the Glenn Bard Parent Series, the GPS, your navigational tool for healthy families. And I'm here to talk about alcohol, and I want to talk particularly to the parents in the audience. My message to you is you matter. You matter so much. What you do matters in terms of the future of your young people around drinking. Alcohol is not an ordinary commodity. It is the #1 killer of young people all over the world. Here in the US, we lose about 4,300 kids a year because of alcohol use. The single most important influence in a young person's drinking is how their parents drink. So that's the first thing I want to say to you is whatever you're drinking, it's probably good for your children if you drink less. That's the general public health message around alcohol use. But I also want to talk about the world that your kids find themselves in terms of alcohol. And it's not the world that we grew up in. Alcohol today is so much cheaper compared to other commodities than it was when I was a kid. The main reason for this is because the biggest chunk of alcohol prices is often the tax, or at least it used to be. And alcohol taxes are based on the volume in the beverage. The size of a can of beer hasn't changed in the last 50 years, so the tax rate hasn't gone up. What this means is every year that there's inflation, which is just about every year, alcohol companies get a tax cut. The product is cheaper compared to other things. That's a powerful message for our kids. When I was a kid, a Coke was $1 and a can of beer was $1.50. Now in a corner store, you're likely to find that there's beer cheaper than the soda pop. That's the first piece around alcohol marketing. The second piece, it's more widely available. It's easier to get. There are more places to buy it. The point of this industry is to put the alcohol everywhere where their potential market is. We had stronger controls on this. We learned something, which is what led to Prohibition. We learned other things from Prohibition. We've forgotten so much since then. There are complex control systems in place at the state level, and we need to protect those control systems. But the main one I want to talk about today is alcohol marketing. We are raising a generation that is the most marketed to generation in history. Some of the smartest minds in the country are behind this marketing. And left without control, these sophisticated marketing techniques will aim at making alcohol look incredibly attractive, if not essential, to success, happiness, and so on. The industry says over and over again, well, the alcohol marketing isn't targeted towards kids. Well, whether it's targeted to them or not, our studies have found kids see so much of this marketing. In LA, kids ages 11 to 14 were seeing at least 3 alcohol ads a day. On TV alone, one of our studies found that the average TV watching kid saw 366 alcohol ads a year. 1 a day is really good for kids and vitamins. It's not good for kids and alcohol ads on TV. So the alcohol marketing is everywhere, and in particular, it's so many places where you aren't. It is all over social media, where some of the companies are now spending twice as much money to market as they are in traditional media. Social media marketing is behaviorally and geographically and contextually targeted. So if your child shows the slightest interest in alcohol, they will get more and more and more of this marketing. You, unfortunately, are the main bulwark against that. We say it's important to talk to kids about alcohol. Absolutely. It's also critical to talk to kids about alcohol marketing. When my kids were in their teens, an alcohol ad would come on, and I would get them to laugh about it. I would make fun of it. I would talk about the things that it wouldn't show. They would roll their eyes, but there was a counter voice. And there are so few counter voices to the marketing. You also need to know, and your kids need to know, that drinking, and in particular heavy drinking, is much, much rarer in this country than people believe. And that's a marketing effect. The marketing is there to convince you that this is normal, and it's not. So thank you so much. I'm deeply hopeful about what we can all do around alcohol. Look at what we've done with tobacco. But we've got to start, and we've barely started, and we're going to be more successful if we can take on the things that are most effective. If we can reduce how available it is, particularly to our kids. That includes how available you make it. It is not a safe practice to hold a drinking party at your house, to teach kids how to drink responsibly or under supervision. What we find in the college population is the kids with the biggest drinking problems are the ones whose parents let them drink in high school. It is a myth. It may make you less popular, but the best thing that you can do for your kids is have a warm, communicative relationship and set clear limits. They're counting on us for that. So restrictions on availability, restrictions on the marketing, we can take on the billboards, we can take on those signs that cover the windows of stores, gas stations, etc., anywhere it's allowed to be sold. And we can raise the price. Governments all over the place are constantly looking for sources of revenue, and alcohol, as one colleague of mine says, it's an extremely poorly performing revenue source. It's not paying its way the way that it used to. Every drink of alcohol generates about $2 in social costs. The average tax on that drink at this point is about 20 cents if you add up federal and state taxes. So there's a big gap there, and we're all paying for it. We ought to be able to get alcohol at least to pay for itself. As I said, I'm deeply hopeful. I'm grateful for what you do. Thanks for being such great parents.